wanted to hit on something that you're really not going to hear much of in the mainstream media, and that's the current ongoing extradition trial for Julian Assange. Now, he's over in England. He's been in that Belmarsh prison for quite some time. Who knows what they've done to him with their mind-altering drugs and stuff. But as part of this story, a couple of things are coming out. His own lawyers, and apparently there's been some testimony, have said, if you remember, Dana Rohrabacher, a U.S. congressman, went over and met with Assange in 2017, and they've said that he actually conveyed an offer from President Trump that Assange could receive a pardon if he would reveal the source of the DNC leaks, which we've all long suspected to be, and even Julian Assange on one or two interviews almost seemed to say that it was Seth Rich. Now, we know the story of Seth Rich. He was killed in a robbery where nothing was taken, shot on the street in Washington, D.C. He was a big Bernie supporter, and the allegations are, and some computer forensic people have documented, that this makes the most sense for the DNC hack, not that it was an outside, an external hack, but that it was an inside job. So the allegation is he took a thumb drive, plugged it in the computer, downloaded the emails onto that, and then gave it to WikiLeaks. And like we said, Julian Assange has even said that. So apparently in 2017, or at least this is the story that Assange's lawyers are putting forward, Dana Rohrabacher, a Republican congressman, went over there and conveyed the offer from President Trump to give him a pardon if he would reveal the source. Now, the source, if it is Seth Rich, is dead. So that ends the need for source confidentiality, although WikiLeaks has this sort of overriding policy of never revealing a source. Even though, again, as we said, it seemed like Assange did that in one or two interviews. But the point is, apparently, Assange turned this down. I guess he was too proud to make this deal. To me, it sounds like a great deal. And, part of me even thinks, the whole trouble he's in, he's kind of put himself there. Why didn't he just reveal his source? So I don't know what that actually means, if that means that Seth Rich wasn't his source and maybe we don't have the right story. It certainly seems like he was. Seth Rich is long dead. Why wouldn't Assange just reveal that and get the pardon?
If that's not a source, who would it be?
Yeah, who would it be? I mean, the other allegation, right, is that it was the Russians, the unnamed, unknown Russians, the evil Russians. But Glenn Greenwald's been all over this story of the Assange trial. But again, you won't hear this in the mainstream media. And Greenwald's saying, he's a journalist, as you might know, he's now with The Intercept. He broke the Edward Snowden story back in 2013. But anyway, Greenwald's been tweeting about this and putting out other content about the Assange extradition trial. And he said, this concept that Assange is not a journalist sort of leaves aside the major stories that WikiLeaks has broken over the years of government corruption, even the stories of these Hillary Clinton emails. I mean, there were some major stories in those, in the Podesta emails and others. Even just the fact that, Podesta, one of the top advisors to Hillary Clinton, would have such a weak password and almost no security on his email account, et cetera. I mean, those in and of themselves are stories of government ineptitude, maybe even corruption. But he says, look at all the stories that WikiLeaks has broken that other quote-unquote journalists haven't dared to touch. And also, look at the journalism prizes that he's won. So, I've heard a lot of people say, well, he's not a journalist, and they adopt the line that the national security state wants you to take, that he's some kind of non-state, ill-intentioned actor or something like that. Well, other people could say he's a journalist. There's no special qualification to be a journalist, is there? You don't have to go to journalism school and have a journalism degree. Is that where we're at in this country? You got to have a piece of paper on your wall? No. You have to be breaking stories. You have to be revealing things that the public wants to know, showing government corruption, things like that. That's what makes a journalist. And if that's what makes a journalist, then Julian Assange is a journalist. So
and
here
an unbiased opinion.
Yeah. So here we have.
Too?
Huh?
Is that a journalist too? An unbiased opinion? Do we have any of those?
It doesn't even have to be an unbiased opinion. But no, we don't have any more of those. We don't have any more of the Walter Cronkite reading the news type of journalism. Although some people would take a look back at some of Cronkite's work and say that he was slanted, even though he did it in a very unslanted way, at least compared to what we have today. But I'll let you even be totally opinionated and be a journalist. You're out there, you're publishing things, You're doing either revelations of facts that are important or that people are interested in, or you're doing commentary or a mix of both. And I'll say all of that is journalism, just like it was back in the founding of this republic. You know, the leaflets and things that were printed up before the American Revolution and thereafter, you know, done by people like Benjamin Franklin, Samuel Adams, and others. These were not unbiased commentaries, right? These people had a perspective. They were putting forward news that helped to push their agenda, and that was exactly what they were talking about in the First Amendment when they gave the freedom of the press. It's ensconced it in the amendment, right? It's because they didn't create that freedom. What they said was these freedoms, these rights pre-exist government saying that you have them. But the point is we're going to ensconce them so that they cannot continue to be taken away by the government. But here we have our own government prosecuting a journalist. Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.